Gaat u zitten. De zitting is geopend. Mevrouw de promovenda, het college voor promoties van de Universiteit Utrecht stelt u in de gelegenheid uw proefschrift in het openbaar te verdedigen. But before we get around to that, I would like to welcome a number of guests. First of all, Professor Glenn Ramschand, University of Tromsø, Norway, Professor Alistair Murden, Universiteit Groningen, Tromsø. That means that the floor is open, and I invite the first examiner, Professor Ramschand.
First of all, from my perspective, I'd like to say what a pleasure it is to read thesis, which engages equally with both syntactic issues and semantic ones, investigating in particular natural language phenomenon. And I know that this requires an engagement and understanding of two quite different sets of vocabularies and toolboxes, in a sense. And I think it's done very well in the thesis. And because of my interest in this area, I want to ask a slightly more big picture question with regard to the general architecture of the grammar, questions that come up precisely when this kind of work is explicitly undertaken. So it's going to be a question about the relationship between syntactic representation and the semantic fragmentarization that you uncover. So starting just with a little example of when you do engage with this issue in practical terms as you look at the phenomena you look at. And for example, when you look at syntactic structure of PP, you do explicitly go for a structure which decomposes it into class and place. So that's a place where you put semantics in the structure and say that the syntactic representation correlates with these new functions. But on the other hand, when you get to the chapter on source versus goal, you explicitly set up the question. You have hypothesis A and hypothesis B on page 230. If you want to make reference to page 230, where hypothesis A says that the conceptual goal bias is hardwired into the grammar, whereas the hypothesis B version says that it's extra linguistic and it doesn't need to be represented in semantically. So you have engaged in that issue on an individual phenomenon-based from that perspective. The question I want to ask is now more general, so I'm asking you to maybe stand back a bit from the particularities of your analysis of that construction and comment a little bit about on what you think philosophically or architecturally about this relationship between syntax and semantics. How do you see this division of labor? I mean, how much independence is there between syntactic representation and semantics? So that's the first half of the question, is just sort of your ideas, general big picture ideas philosophically about that, architecturally, and then depending on your answer to the first part, methodologically, how do we go about that, given that we might be engaged in precisely these kinds of questions about the syntactic semantic interface? How would you go about deciding in any particular case what sort of considerations should one bring to bear on making that quite hard and I think important decision about whether you build something into a syntactic representation in addition to the semantics, especially since the semantic toolbox is actually quite a powerful one, to build it into the syntax as well. I think requires some organization, and then how would you decide in a particular case? Have you thought about that?
Hooguleer opneemt. So I tried in my thesis, I tried to be as explicit as possible about the semantic point of prepositions, prepositional phrases, how they relate to verbs, and especially how they relate to motion verbs, and how to integrate them in the VP or how to relate them to a VP. So the issue is both semantic and syntactic, of course, But I tried to be more explicit about the semantics first, and from there derive the necessary ingredients for the syntactic account. But for the syntactic account, I tried to be as framework neutral as possible, because there are quite a number of syntactic frameworks out there that deal with event structure and the decomposition of the VP into several projections, where each projection might be associated with a typical sub-event or something. So basically, your framework, for example, would be one of them. You decompose a VP into 3 projections, and each projection would be associated with a particular sub-event, and the argument and the specified position of these projections are also associated with a particular participant role in this event. I could have chosen to follow, for example, your framework. But I tried to, because there are so many frameworks out there, there are also VP shell frameworks out there, like Travis framework, or there are other people that argue against the tripartite decomposition, like Asimevich, who wants 2 sub-events in the structure. And at one point, I just didn't think it makes such a big difference for the point I'm trying to make. So I really just wanted to start out with semantics first, and then see what you actually need in the syntactic.